Thank God you didn't embarrass yourself, Jeff. That was the dominating thought that cost me the match. It's the stories that we tell ourselves in the moment that impact how we think, how we feel, how we act, that impact our performance and our well-being. My name is Jeff Salzenstein. I'm a leadership speaker and performance coach committed to helping as many people, millions of people, own their zone. In this video, I want to share with you my experience against playing Michael Chang at the US Open and the stories that I was telling myself out on the tennis court that cost me the match. I'm not saying that I would have beaten world number 2 Michael Chang after I won the first set on stadium court. Arthur Ashe Stadium, millions of people watching on TV, 24,000 people in the stands, John McEnroe announcing the match. I'm not saying that I would have beaten him that night, but I am saying that when I won that first set, after I hit that big wide slice serve and I came in and I hit a beautiful backhand volley to the open court that the fastest, quickest player on the Pro Tour could not run down, where you had people in the stands standing up, basically giving me a standing ovation, pointing at me going, where did this guy come from? Where you have that smile in your face and the TV pans on you. And that's when the thought entered my mind. Jeff, thank God you didn't embarrass yourself tonight. That story, that limiting story, that limiting belief is what kept me at a certain level. It kept me from owning my zone at that next level so that I could beat Michael Chang that evening. I had a lot of other limiting beliefs and limiting stories that evening as well, but that was the dominant one I remember. I remember leading up to that match, after I won my first round on a Tuesday, and I had a couple days off before the Friday, I remember thinking about this. Oh my gosh, I'm going to play Michael Chang in front of millions of people. Whatever you do, don't embarrass yourself. Jeff, just get that thought out of your head. Like, no, don't think like that. Come on, don't be negative. Don't have those thoughts. Okay, let's fill it with positivity. And it's just these endless mind bees buzzing around in my head. It's the mental chatter, right? So I'm processing all of the nervous energy and the limiting stories leading up to the match. And then when I get out on the court, the best athletes, the best performers in the world that thrive under pressure, they're able to take those thoughts, because we all have these negative thoughts and these limiting stories. They're able to take those thoughts and alchemize them into the right thought, the thought that's going to help them propel them forward. And I must admit that I'm pretty skilled at that. I've been doing this as a pro tennis player since I'd been doing it since I turned pro. But even before that, when I picked up a racket and played junior tennis and college tennis at the highest level, I clearly have the ability to take these limiting stories and reframe them. But in this moment, I couldn't do it. It was too much. You could say it's, hey, childhood beliefs coming from Denver, Colorado, the little kid that I didn't know if I would ever play pro tennis. I wasn't groomed. Michael Chang was groomed to be a champion. He was supposed to play pro tennis. He turned pro when he was like 15 years old. I didn't turn pro till I was 23. Coming out of Stanford, this was not part of the plan. So when you get on the big stage and you're used to coming from Colorado or coming from a place where you weren't expected to be there, those limiting stories can creep up. You can create these stories that just are not true. But the more you think them, the more they become true. And in that case, I remember leading up to the match, and I remember when I won that first set and smiled, I could just like breathe. Thank God you didn't embarrass yourself. You didn't lose 6-0, 6-0, 6-0, 6-1, 6-1, 6-1, and have to feel the shame of losing that badly. And that is the difference between someone who's a high performer and someone who's elite. The Kobe Bryants, the Michael Jordans, the Andre Agassi's, the Pete Sampras, the Michael Changs even, the Roger Federers, the Novak Djokovic, their thinking is better than the high performers just a notch below them. So there's no question. I got to 100 in the world. I'm playing Michael Chang. Clearly, I know how to think. I know how to find a way through situations. I always say there's levels, and then there's levels, and then there's more levels. We can always raise the bar. We can always become aware of our limiting thoughts, our limiting stories. That thought of, hey, thank God you didn't embarrass yourself tonight, that was the set point that kept me from sustaining that level throughout the match. So what we want to focus on as leaders, as humans, as high performers with our teams, inside organizations is really getting clear on what those limiting stories are. We want to know what we are thinking. We want to have that self-awareness. Many of us are walking around in our personal and professional lives, and we are not aware of the stories that we're telling ourselves. That's why journaling is so important, getting it down on paper or voice notes, saying what's going on, or getting a coach or therapy, like to really see our blind spots around our thinking. Because at 23 years old, playing on the pro tour, having those thoughts, I thought those thoughts were me, but they're not me. If I could have stepped away and been the observer and then been able to reframe in the moment and taken that thought of, thank God you didn't embarrass yourself, to, wait a minute. Okay, I just had that thought. Let's accept it. We're not going to push it away. Let's accept the thought and let's reframe it. Okay, you just won that first set. What's next? Let's get our first serve in this next game. Let's play aggressive tennis. Come on, let's go. And so instead of ping-ponging between those thoughts and letting the embarrassing thought override it, the other thoughts, I could have made sure that I was more proactive with my thinking throughout the match. I could have been aware of that and caught myself. I just didn't have the tools and the skills at that level yet. I had tools and skills to reframe at that time. I've been practicing it for years, but there was another gear. And I didn't have a coach in my corner at the time that was saying, hey, when you have these limiting stories, you're going to practice reframing them every single time. I didn't have that then. I was on my own island, sorting this out, trying to solve it. So that's where I come in terms of helping you. If you're hearing this video right now, you can change your story. You can become aware of the limiting thoughts, the limiting beliefs, and the limiting stories you're telling yourself. And I encourage you, what is your story that's related to, thank God you didn't embarrass yourself? Is it, I can't possibly do that. I don't know how to do that. That could never be me. I'm not good enough. Whatever it is, let's start to shift it. Let's start to reframe it. You can. And it doesn't mean you're going to get the result you want. I might have lost to Chang that night anyway. But had I been able to make these shifts sooner, one, I may have won. The match may have been closer, but it would have created a stronger foundation from which that I could build on for matches in the future, so that I didn't choke, or so that my level didn't drop when I was about to beat some of the best players in the world. So I want you to listen to this video. I want you to take the core lesson, is that I want you to identify the limiting story, the limiting thought, the limiting belief, and I want you to flip it. I want you to practice committing to a new story and catch yourself every time you go into that place, into that negative loop. This is going to help your communication with others. It's going to help your self-talk, of course. It's going to help your confidence, your belief in yourself. It's going to help you find new solutions. You're going to be an asset. You're going to be of value to everyone in your life when you show up in this way, when you change your thinking and you change how you communicate based on how you're thinking. And that's what I want for you. If you want to rewire your mind, if you want to own your zone, you are going to win with your words. You are going to win with your thoughts, beliefs, and your stories. Take that lesson with you and own your zone. You've got this.